what you notice if you listen very, very diligently. That little that's the first song leaking through because we missed it by a second or so. And when we cut it, that low end slightly cut in. Okay, and that's why I'm saying when you are doing something like this is why it's a little more complex because the low end information here is going to be not your friend. And when you are approaching it like this, in these mixes, I do my best to keep them as authentic as possible and not have too much prep involved. Just do the basics that I like to do with some of the cue points, have an understanding of the songs and go. That's why I'm using my headphones as well, because might not be as familiar with the songs.
All the time to keep you on my mind. Spend my days locked in a haze trying to.
Okay, now what we're doing is, best practices. Enjoying the music, vibing with the songs. I picked this song for a reason. I really like it. I like that melody. It's a classic melody, a very famous melody. Sing along with it, but do it in coordination with getting the next track ready. Take the time that you have, get it ready, so then you can be more relaxed.
Get you, babe, I fall back down. Gotta stay high all my life to forget I miss.
Okay, take this opportunity. It's getting hot. Take off your jacket, grab a glass of water or something. You unbutton your shirt, whatever you need to do to feel a little more comfortable. Okay, then we talked about creating these more faster transitions. We elaborated on why they're considering more complex than your standard sort of low end out, bringing in the next song, more traditional mixing transitions. Okay, the classic mixing. This is a great example here where we are playing the one song, right? But we have to be very, very sharp on the grid. Okay, so the grid's going right at 128 or 126, okay, of the song, okay, and we are punching in. Okay, so as the grid's going, we have, say, a mark here, or if we don't have a cue point, we just look at the grid and say, okay, that's 4 bars there, that's 2 bars, okay. At 2 bars, I want to hit it there, okay, and that's what we're doing. So as the grid's going, okay, that's where I want to hit it. But if you don't hit it, we're doing this free form, okay, so not synced. We're doing a free form. As the grid's moving on your screen, we press play where we want it. But what happens is that it usually goes here or here. It doesn't go where my knuckle is, say. It doesn't usually go smack on the grid. It'll usually be a little bit forward, a little bit forward, okay? And when you're doing something like this, when you only have 2 bars, it can be very tricky to get the spin back or use a turntable to bring it back where it needs to be, okay? So what can happen is as it's going, right, we know we only have 2 bars, but we can get a bit of a leak from the chorus. So usually in these sections, there might be a second chorus or there's a build that we're switching. So in this scenario, we're building and we don't want to go for the chorus, the drop that's in this current song. We're switching over to a different chorus, okay? But if we don't cut this current one out within 2 bars, we have a bit of a leak because we have the kick, you have the snares, you have all this information coming in. What you notice if you listen very, very diligently. That little that's the first song leaking through because we missed it by a second or so. And when we cut it, that low end slightly cut in. Okay, and that's why I'm saying when you are doing something like this is why it's a little more complex because the low end information here is going to be not your friend. And when you are approaching it like this, in these mixes, I do my best to keep them as authentic as possible and not have too much prep involved, just do the basics that I like to do with some of the cue points, have an understanding of the songs and go. That's why I'm using my headphones as well, because might not be as familiar with the songs. When you have that approach to something like this, you have to be mindful that these certain things will happen because you haven't had the time to eke out every single transition 100%. When we're talking about creating a full-blown production, okay, we're looking at some of the kings of the game, Madonna, we're looking at Michael Jackson, we're looking at Prince. They rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed until it was bang on. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't change things up and play this here, play that there, but they know that, okay, that song here, I'm going to do this. And when you approach it from that perspective, then something like this, I would practice. So I know that, okay, when I want with that song, with this song, it needs to be bang on. When you're doing something like this in a live setting and it's more educational, I am okay with having these sort of mistakes because they're a learning moment. And exhibit A, that's why when you are approaching these transitions, that low end is something you have to be very mindful of. Even if you have to cut it out a little bit earlier, it might sound a little bit strange because it's not 100% smooth, but I would say cut out that first song even a little bit earlier and allow the other one to take over, and that way it's a little bit smoother. You don't have that leakage and that click of that low end coming in. Now, when you're thinking about it from a creative perspective, right? Think about it from emotional, from using your emotional intelligence, okay? There's a lot that we've done already. We've created a big effect, we've just did big transition. That's a good amount for the audience, okay? You want to be careful not to overload the audience with that transition. Move this one, do that. It's not that the audience is dumb or something like that. The audience is actually very, very intelligent, very smart, okay? But the audience needs a bit of a break, just like you need a bit of a break, okay? Find moments and know when you need to just leave things alone, okay? And this is one example where we know just leave it alone. Give yourself, give the audience, give people some space. And just enjoy the music. At the end of the day, people have come to see you. They've come to see, your craft. They want to see you do what you're known for, etc. Play the songs that you're known for, all that. So people know that you're good at what you do. Hammering it down is unnecessary. You being confident, you knowing that you are good at what you do is more than enough. You don't have to show off or go overboard on something. Now this allows us to have a little more creativity now. So we're allowing the song to play through, and now I'm searching through the song that I want to play in. Perhaps there's a different cue point that I want to use. Perhaps the one that I've selected is a little too quick for what I'm liking now. I want to pick a different moment. I want to do another quick transition. This is the moments where you can really just have your own artistic space to be creative. Okay, so just some best practices, making sure that the tempo is right. Perhaps we want to decrease the first one, decrease this one. Just making sure that if it's at 126, this one's at 126. Standard stuff, checking the cue points, making sure that the fade is down or the fade is up for what we want to do. Just standard stuff that fundamental.